Hello everyone, this is International Master Alex Ostrovskiy recording for ChessLessons.com, bringing you the Daily Tactics Snack, your everyday source for bite-sized tactics training. And today we're going to be looking at a new theme, and the position on the board is, as customary, our first position, a warm-up puzzle, and also the introduction. So without further ado, please pause your videos and try to solve it. Alright, as usual in this series, before getting to the solution, we're going to have a hint at first. And, well, first thing about this position, we must notice that black is up a lot of black is down a lot of material, a rook, a piece, and a number of pawns. So this attack against the white king here, that is propelled by the queen and the knight, which is a deadly combination, really needs to be decisive at this point, because otherwise white is just going to be up a lot of material. Now, for those of you who may not have solved the position yet, I'm sure that the move you're looking at is this very straightforward and aggressive queen h2 check. But after queen h2 check, it gets a little bit complicated because the king is running away, and it's not clear whether there is a checkmate on the board or not. The hint for this position is try to innovate and try to improve on the idea of queen h2. And with that, I invite you to try to solve the puzzle yet again. Alright, now it's time for the solution. As mentioned, the move queen h2 here is it's a little complicated because after king f3, it looks very, very dangerous for white. This king is walking around, this rook is x-raying it, but the problem is black doesn't really have a very good follow-up here. After, for example, pawn takes g3 check, well, if white takes on g4, queen h4 is a nice checkmate. Unfortunately, bishop takes f8 is a simple way to sort of get rid of this key attacking piece, and now white's up even more material, and black is really struggling. So instead, this wrinkle f3 check simply leads to checkmate. The point is after e takes f3, queen h2 mates the king. And a very straightforward puzzle, but a very good introduction to today's theme, which is making your opponent's pieces work for you. And this theme is closely related to a previous video that we've done on Smothered Mate, which is purely based on your opponent's pieces being an inconvenience for your opponent instead of a strength. But here we're going to look expanding that theme yet again. So f3 here, pawn takes f3. This pawn on f3 is now very inconvenient for white. All of these pieces here are really just boxing in this king, and queen h2 leads to mate. Now that was the warm-up. The next two puzzles are going to be a lot tougher. Okay, here is our second position of the day. Much tougher than the warm-up, or maybe not much tougher, but certainly more difficult, but also easier in the sense that we know the theme, we know that we want to make our opponent's pieces work for us, and in this position, that's exactly what we're going to be trying to do. So at this point, please pause your videos and look for the answer. Alright, no surprises here. First comes the hint. Now, in this position, it's an interesting battle. We have both kings slightly exposed. The king on h1 is a little bit airy, and the king on f8 is also a little bit uncomfortable, but seems pretty well protected by all these pieces here, all in the vicinity of the king. So perhaps it's not going to be so easy for white to break through. Well, here, the hint for white is we need to somehow exploit our dominance on the dark squares. We have opposite color bishops here, these guys over here, and the bishop on f6, we can see it's completely controlling all the dark squares around the black king, and that's our advantage here, the color complex of the dark squares, and we really want to find a way, if possible, to break through there. So with this hint, I'm sure that you should be able to solve this puzzle here, and again, please pause the video. Okay, well, it's time for the answer. If you thought the correct move was queen e7 check, then you hung your queen, but you solved the position. Now, well, it's very simple. Black has to take, rook takes e7 check, and now the follow-up is rook d8 check. Now, black has to block with rook e8, and it looks like so far so good, but again, rook g8 check, king takes g8, rook e8, checkmate, wonderful checkmate. White is down a queen and, well, a pawn, but that was already the case. And this is simply checkmate on the back rank due to black's own poor pieces. This rook on h7, pawn on f7, preventing the king from running anywhere, also of course assisted by this monster in the dark squares, and again, making our opponent's pieces work for us. Very nice checkmate with a queen sacrifice. Let's replay that one more time, going back to the original position, starting from here. The key move, queen e7 check, forcing rook takes e7, breaking through in the dark squares. Now the back rank here is completely weak. By the way, in this position, you could also start with rook g8 check. Very nice, fancy move. In this position, after king takes g8, we would be temporarily down a rook and a queen. And now rook d8 check, just a transposition to the position we've already seen. But very nice checkmate. Black's pieces are too cramped around the king, and they turn out to be more of a hindrance than of assistance. Now, with this puzzle in the books, we're going to switch to our third, final, and most difficult position. Alright, welcome to the final puzzle. I must admit, this is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest puzzles that we've done in this series so far. But it's also very rewarding, a very nice puzzle. I'm sure that at the end of it, we're all going to be smiling and appreciating the beauty of chess. So, alright, at this point, pause the video. Let's see what you got. Okay, I must admit, I'm finding it a little bit difficult to give hints that do not give away the solution, but here goes anyway. We know the theme of the day. We know we want to make our opponent's pieces work for us. We've seen two examples where that's exactly what happened. Our opponent's pieces sort of boxed in the king here and prevented him from running away. And in this position, we already have the makings of a nice combination, seemingly, because, well, we have all the prerequisites here. We have this king on the h-file, the pieces surrounding it, so we know trouble is brewing. The problem is, how do we do it? Well, if I can give a hint, maybe not the greatest hint, I would say you really have to use your imagination here. You have to figure out a way to make sure that we can get this king in this box even more, just all the squares need to be completely taken away, and at the same time, well, we need to be also giving checkmate. It's really hard to give a hint without just saying. You have to be imaginative, and you have to look at all the forcing options. So with that, good luck, and you can pause your video. Okay, well, if you solve this puzzle, that's very, very impressive. Very tough puzzle here. It's also a very, very nice one. The first move here is rook to h4. So again, look at all forcing options, especially in a position like this, with the king so glued to the side of the board and completely trapped. You never know which checks might be good. Rook h4 check. Wonderful start. Losing a rook. What's that about? Okay, the next move, g4 check. Almost checkmate, but not quite. Black has to play bishop takes g4. And now, beautiful move here, rook g5. So, very, very crazy puzzle here. First you give a rook, then you give a pawn, then you give another rook. What's that all about? Well, after rook takes g5, the checkmate comes, knight f4. And this is a perfect example of today's theme. This king over here, completely mummified by his own rooks, bishop, and pawn. Black's material advantages beyond decisive, yet the lonely knight delivers checkmate simply with the assistance of Black's own clumsy pieces. Let's replay that one more time. Again, the starting move here, rook h4 check, sets it all up. The idea of this move, multifold. First of all, we get this pawn to h4, preventing the king from running there. And also we open up the rook to on the g-file so we can play the move g4. Yet again, forcing bishop takes, taking away another square from the king. And now all that's left to do is play rook g5, rook takes, and now the king is all but locked up, only has one square to escape, and knight f4 delivers a fantastic checkmate. Hope you've enjoyed today's Tactic Snacks, and we'll see you back tomorrow.